What if a heart attack revealed the very truths you have been ignoring about yourself? As John Matthews hovered near death, he discovered life-changing insights that could shatter your understanding of existence. Are you ready to confront your own self-ignorance before it is too late? Do not miss this. Like and subscribe to embark on a transformative journey into 2025. As I hovered in that strange, disorienting space, a feeling of weightlessness enveloped me. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced. My body felt absent, yet my consciousness was acutely aware. I was unsure of my own existence, a profound sense of disbelief gnawing at me. What was happening? Was I truly dead, or was this merely some cruel trick of my mind? Then, inexplicably, figures began to take shape around me. They appeared not as physical beings, but more like energies that resonated with a familiar warmth. I could sense their presence, but it was as if they communicated not through words, but through thoughts that surged directly into my mind. At first, I could not believe it. Who were they? I wrestled with the notion that I might be losing my grasp on reality. Could this really be happening? Or was I simply imagining things as I drifted towards the void? As I grappled with my skepticism, something shifted within me. I realized that these figures were not strangers. They embodied my own thoughts and conscience. They were reflections of my innermost self, guiding me to look deeper within. I felt an overwhelming rush of recognition that these beings carried an understanding of my life that I had long ignored. They were not just guides, they were echoes of my own soul, urging me to confront the truths I had hidden away. In that moment, themes of reconciliation and forgiveness began to emerge, wrapping around me like a gentle embrace. I was encouraged to face the parts of my existence that I had overlooked in my daily life, the pain I had suppressed, the relationships I had neglected, and the dreams I had dismissed. It was not an easy task. Confronting my own vulnerabilities felt daunting. Yet, there was an undercurrent of safety within this space, a feeling that I was being supported throughout the process. What struck me most was the profound realization that consciousness exists beyond our physical forms. The limitations I had adhered to in my earthly life faded into the background, replaced by an expansive understanding. I no longer felt defined by my past mistakes or the ego that had once controlled me. Instead, I began to see that my journey was far more significant than the struggles I faced. It was a continuous path of growth and learning. As I stood before these spiritual guides, I could not help but wonder, what happens when you encounter the unknown? This question resonated deeply within me. I realized that in order to truly evolve, I needed to let go of my doubts and embrace the revelations before me. Could it be that our minds can perceive truth beyond the tangible world? The uncharted territory of my inner self now lay before me, inviting exploration and healing. Each thought, every insight felt like a step towards understanding not only who I was, but who I could become. As I drifted away from my physical body, a vivid panorama unfolded before me. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced. My entire life flashed in an instant. Each moment came rushing at me. The laughter with friends, the proud achievements, but also the dark shadows of missed opportunities, and the quiet corners of ignorance. It was overwhelming, this surreal display that felt like both a gift and a punishment. I was confronted not just with memories, but with emotions I had tucked away, ignoring their persistent call. My heart ached as I began to realize how many relationships I had neglected. Faces of loved ones appeared, moments we shared, that had long been buried beneath the chaos of my daily life. I felt a profound sense of remorse for the times I had taken those connections for granted, for the times my focus had been on trivial matters rather than nurturing the bonds that truly mattered. This emotional reckoning cut deep. In this vulnerable state, I came face to face with the role my ego played in shaping my life. It had blinded me, wrapped me in a false sense of importance, encouraging me to prioritize my achievements over my growth as a person. My ego had convinced me that success defined my worth, and in doing so, it had kept me at a distance from my true self. I could see how it stifled my emotional connections, how it whispered loudly in my ears, drowning out the quiet voice that sought authenticity. As I continued this introspective journey, clarity began to settle in, the dawning of a new day. Each scene presented itself not only as a memory, but also as a lesson. The harsh light of realization transformed the lingering doubts I had about myself into a profound understanding. Change is possible. I felt it in my core, an unshakable truth that every moment, whether marked by pride or regret, held potential for growth. This process was not simply a recounting of past mistakes. It was a call to action. The weight of my realizations draped over me like a heavy cloak, yet beneath it, I felt an undercurrent of liberation. Recognizing the extent of my disconnection from my true self brought with it a flicker of hope. I understood now that waking up from this self-induced slumber was within my reach. The confrontation with my past stirred something deep within me, a spark that ignited the drive to heal. I knew I had to take responsibility for the relationships I allowed to fade, for the opportunities I overlooked in favor of my ego's demands. This emotional turbulence was not chaotic. It was the starting point of my journey toward profound self-understanding. I was ready to grasp the threads of my life and weave them into a tapestry of connection and purpose. How many of us live in this cycle of distraction, blinded by our ambitions? Each memory acted as a mirror, reflecting not just who I was, but who I could become if I chose to embrace the deeper truths within me. I felt urged to act, to move beyond my past patterns, and to honor the relationships that needed healing. In that moment, as the life review faded, I understood that every insight revealed was a stepping stone toward transformation. In the moments when I hovered between life and death, something profound clicked into place. I grasped the essence of life's interconnectedness. It wasn't just about me or my individual purpose. It was about how every single person, every experience was intertwined. This realization hit me like a tidal wave crashing over the remnants of my old beliefs. It felt almost instinctual, as if this truth had always been present, but was hidden beneath layers of distraction and self-absorption. I had spent years pursuing external success, thinking accolades and achievements would fill the void within me. But during that experience, a light flicked on, illuminating the truth that had long been obscured. Material achievements had sidelined my inner growth. Each promotion, every trophy was just a fleeting moment of satisfaction that created an even deeper chasm of emptiness. I was astonished to see how much I had ignored these fundamental truths about my existence. How had I allowed myself to be so consumed by the superficial? As I absorbed this insight, a profound obligation sprang within me, urging immediate action. I couldn't simply return to my life unchanged, pretending I hadn't received this vital understanding. The weight of that responsibility felt heavy, almost crushing. I could sense the urgency to act, to reshape my priorities and connect more genuinely with those around me. This was not just about me anymore. It was about embracing our shared journey and recognizing that each interaction has a ripple. Yet, there was an emotional toll. A part of me felt scared to face the consequences of these realizations. Acknowledging my past distractions and the time lost weighed heavily on my heart. But amidst that weight, there was also a liberating freedom. Accepting my shortcomings felt like peeling away a barrier that had kept me from genuinely connecting with myself and others. What if our pursuit of success is actually a distraction from true fulfillment? This question lingered in my mind, hanging like a cloud, prompting deeper reflection on everything that drives us as humans. I realized that starting from this interconnectedness could lead to a path of true awakening. Realizing our interconnectedness is vital for spiritual awakening. It lays the groundwork for deeper relationships, not only with ourselves, but also with the world around us. I stood at a crossroads, aware that the journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but filled with hope and purpose. There was so much left to explore and understand about life, love, and the connections we often overlook. I knew that prioritizing inner growth had the potential to change everything, not just for me, but for everyone whose lives I touched. The weight of this responsibility felt daunting yet invigorating, igniting a fire within me that would guide my next steps. I had never expected to find myself in this position, standing on the precipice of revelation. The guides, who seemed to embody countless souls and ancient wisdom, showed me a vision for 2025, a significant shift in global consciousness. It was unlike anything I had ever witnessed. I could see waves of light ebbing and flowing across the planet, igniting sparks of awareness in communities. It was beautiful yet daunting. This expansion of consciousness was a call for unity, a chance for humanity to awaken to a deeper understanding of itself. But with this incredible vision came dark undercurrents. The guide's warning echoed in my mind. Neglecting this shift would lead to chaos. I could see glimpses of turmoil rising, fueled by fear and self-ignorance. It was as if I were peering into a crystal ball that reflected not just potential futures, but stark possibilities. The urgency of their message weighed heavily on my heart. I had been granted access to insights that could help steer humanity away from this potential disaster. Yet I hesitated. The realization struck me that individual transformations weren't enough. The guides pressed the importance of collective change, emphasizing that our evolution as a society hinges on the connections we create with one another. Each person's awakening, though vital, must culminate in a shared consciousness, an understanding that we are all inextricably linked. I could feel the gravity of this truth settle over me like a thick fog. Yet as I mulled over this urgent message, I was consumed with internal conflict. How do I share something so profound without inciting panic? What if people feared what lay ahead? I imagined myself in their shoes. The thought of hearing such a warning sent chills down my spine. The fear of the unknown often paralyzes even the most courageous heart. As I paced back and forth in the quiet of my mind, I felt the overwhelming need to convey these insights for the greater good. I couldn't keep this knowledge to myself. It felt inherently selfish to do so. If I possessed a piece of the puzzle that could help guide humanity away from chaos, then it was my responsibility to share it. But how do I transform this chaotic energy into something constructive? How could I inspire others while easing their fears? Taking a deep breath, I allowed the realization to settle. Sharing the truth requires sensitivity and strength. It's about fostering understanding in a way that calms the storm rather than fueling it. If we work together in harmony, rather than contrasting our fears, the message could shine as a beacon of hope, a call to action rather than a dire warning. A revelation loomed on the horizon, and I felt the urgency to prepare myself and others. I became aware that I was a part of this transformation, one voice among many who could help guide others toward awareness. The collective consciousness shapes our reality, and with commitment to evolve together, we could head off a potential crisis, steering toward a brighter tomorrow. That's when I understood. The power of connection was the antidote to self-ignorance. It was time to unite and uplift, to turn an impending storm into a pathway toward enlightenment. Waking up, the instant I opened my eyes, everything felt profoundly different. I could still hear the quiet hum of the hospital machines, but the beeping began to fade into the background. I lay there, overwhelmed by the weight of a realization that settled deep within me. I couldn't return to my old ways. The life I had led before felt like a movie playing out in someone else's story. The corporate world, once a symbol of success, now loomed over me as a hollow shell of what truly mattered. With that urgency lingering, I decided to quit my high-pressure job. The long hours spent in sterile boardrooms seemed meaningless in the face of the enlightenment I had just encountered. I was searching for deeper meaning in life, a quest that felt as vital as the air I breathed. This wasn't just about changing careers. It was about redefining who I was, a journey to explore the very essence of my being. As I delved into spirituality, I felt an undeniable pull to share my experiences. I began studying various teachings, immersing myself in everything from ancient philosophies to contemporary practices. But with each step forward came its own set of challenges. I often found myself shrouded in doubt, questioning my choices and the worth of my new path. Was this the right direction? Each moment of uncertainty felt like a pull back to familiar chains, reminding me of the stability that my previous life had offered, despite its emptiness. During those bleak times, I sought solace in communities that resonated with my newfound beliefs. Finding spaces filled with like-minded individuals provided a comforting layer of support. Sharing our experiences uplifted me, allowing us to forge connections that were deeply enriching. I learned that the healing journey isn't meant to be walked alone. Strength often comes from the bonds we build with others. Yet, the road was not always smooth. There were days when I worried my choices would lead me astray. The prospect of going back to the corporate world felt like a siren's call. I had seen what lies beyond, yet here I was, grappling with my inner demons and the familiar allure of corporate success. Even amid doubt, I realized that these struggles were part of my transformation, a necessary element to foster resilience and authenticity. Reflecting back, It was the intersections with others who had also experienced profound changes that fortified my resolve. Their stories mirrored mine, creating a tapestry of compassion and understanding. Each encounter helped me to reinforce my commitment to my path, reminding me that what mattered most was not just my own journey, but the collective experience we all shared. Together, we were all unraveling the layers of self-ignorance, each thread a vital part of a greater tapestry that unveiled deeper truths. Driven by a desire to help others find their light, I committed to teaching mindfulness. After my near-death experience, I realized that many of us wander through life unaware of our true selves, caught in the autopilot of routine existence. This drive has shaped my teachings, focusing on mindfulness and self-awareness as essential tools to navigate future challenges that life presents. From my experience, I learned that daily practices emerge not just as routine actions, but as vital elements that anchor us in the present moment. I started incorporating meditation, breath work, and intentional reflection into my day. These mindfulness practices not only center us, but prepare us for unforeseen challenges. They help us respond to life's ups and downs with clarity, rather than react unconsciously. I encourage everyone to carve out just a few minutes each day for these practices. Simply sitting in stillness or focusing on your breath can have profound effects on your mental state and overall well-being. The transformation I underwent made my life richer, filled with deeper connections and meaning. I learned to appreciate the beauty in simple moments and to engage more fully with the people around me. Before my experience, conversations felt surface level, but now I treasure the essence of those exchanges, whether it is a shared laugh or a moment of vulnerability. Each interaction carries a weight that I had previously overlooked. I have also noticed that my relationships have deepened. I am more present with my loved ones, genuinely curious about their thoughts and feelings. As I reflect on my journey, I feel an urgency to share these revelations. Time is ticking, and I wholeheartedly believe that embracing our self-ignorance is not just a personal journey, but one that we can undertake collectively. I urge you to explore this within yourselves as well. Dive deep into your own mind, examine the beliefs that hold you back, and be willing to challenge them. This exploration is not always comfortable, but it is a necessary part of growth. I share these insights not just as a personal testament, but in hopes of inspiring others to embrace change before 2025. We stand at a crucial juncture, and the knowledge we have gained can guide us through the storms ahead. Let us prioritize this work together, supporting one another as we uncover the layers of our own ignorance. Join me in this exploration of self-ignorance. Together, we can embrace transformation. Creating a community that values openness and growth is essential, especially as we approach a time that calls for heightened awareness. I encourage each of you to reflect on your own lives, consider what truths you may have been avoiding, and step into the possibilities that mindfulness offers. Let us navigate this path of discovery, not just for ourselves, but for a better future.